So we started 2015, as we said before. I think there may have been some audio difficulties, but we started 2015 with the most exciting championship in arguably the history of Simraceway, ending at the gorgeous Paradise Island circuit. It was a thrilling finale, and now we've got a brand new era, a new vehicle, and a circuit which is yet to be tested on a competitive level. It's Troyton Raceway hosting the first round of the 6XJ4 Championship. 1.7 on pole. Gabarja got off to a terrible start last time. We'll be able to predict the day here today. It's a much better launch in the game for number one. The outside of turn one. Got a bit of contact there with Super Sign, but the map driver's almost free. The GT Clean Racer was not really clean through there. Bit of contact with Gabarja again. So really struggling here today. And a circuit which very much so mirrors that of Bathurst, celebrating, of course, the legendary 12 hours of Bathurst, which just endured earlier this weekend. And I don't want to post any spoilers or for anyone who's missed the race or wasn't able to tune in. I'm not going to ruin the ending, but it is an absolutely thrilling encounter. So if you haven't checked it out yet, be sure to try and watch some highlights, or at least the last 10 minutes if you can. I'm sure it's already viral all over the internet, but it's 1.7 petrol that leads his way now down through into the tunnel for the first time, with Asphalt in second. Good start for him. RK98 following in third, but he's very light, very nimble. 6XJ4's into the hairpin he goes, and RK's got to be very, very wary there. You can see already starting to struggle just a little bit. The top three pulling away, but there is a little bit of competition coming from Doc Green in fourth, GT Clean fifth, Super Sign in sixth, and Horatius back losing it just a tap behind there in P7. But it's been a great start to the race, and I'm sure it's going to be a sign of things to come. The driver's looking mentally composed, they're ready for this. I've been practicing all week long, but this circuit really does take anything that I've seen on Simraceway before and ramp it up difficulty wise by at least 12. It is a physically demanding circuit, it's mentally enduring as well. When you've got a car like this, as unpredictable as this, fresh off of the Simraceway Motor Company garage, if you know what I mean. This is a brand new addition to Simraceway. It's a Simraceway vehicle, and RK98 slips up into second. Asphalt going off of the asphalt there at turn number one, beating his car on the gravel. He was able to get it going and keep the motor running, but he did struggle for a bit there. We've just seen GT Clean Racer get himself stuck in a bit of a butter sandwich at the moment. He's got two of the yellow 6XJ4s in front of him, and one of them who's trying to get to the inside. It's Horatius back, and he may just get a run down into the hairpin. He's going to really struggle there. Bit of a nudge, but I think GT Clean Racer's got enough sense about him to flick the car back the other way, and he's drifting it through there. He's pushing this to the absolute limits, isn't he? Down into the tunnel for the second time here today. And it's looking like a much cleaner run, isn't it, for the majority of this field. The top three have all pulled away, though, this championship using solely this car. There's got some great liveries, don't forget, and you two can have your say on how the liveries are marketed as such. Be sure to head over to simraceway.com for more details. We'll fill you in exactly on how you can get involved with making some liveries for your cars a little bit later on. But you can see there the gorgeous Martini livery is absolutely beautiful, very reminiscent of the Williams F1 design this year that RK98 is currently using. Same with GT Clean Racer as well. He's also decided to employ that livery and see if he can maybe even get a bit of a Valtteri Bottas-esque run. He's going to try it, but he's got to be careful. Doc Green is right there behind him. Down towards the end of lap number 2, and the field looking still readily competitive. It's 1.7 petrol that's starting to pull away though, with RK98 second. Asphalt trying to get to the inside and unable to do so currently. As they climb the mountainside once again, he's really now starting to struggle it, and he can't quite get his car to the inside, but he is in a slipstream. And I think that myself and the events administrator, or as you more regularly know, Mas Kosako, are talking about this earlier on this championship, and how overtaking may be a bit limited here. This is a very different style of racing. As soon as you boot up Simraceway, you're greeted, of course, with a brand new message saying that this is something entirely different with this new car. This is not a car where you can expect sheer amounts of overtaking and battling and toe-to-toe racing. This really is another challenge entirely. It's almost like a rallycross car, and when a circuit as demanding as Troyton, it's going to be fantastic to see what the drivers are capable of. They're certainly putting on a great show at the moment. Through the chicane they come yet again, and Asphalt really sticking it to RK98 in second at the moment. The race leader, of course, still keeping his head nice and fresh. And down through that chicane, you want to mine the dirt through there, and Asphalt's almost lost it. He has done, and that's going to cost him dearly. All the other cars flying through. I'll say all of them. Well, one of them's gone wide there, and that one being Doc Green, but he's down to 7th place now, Asphalt. So a terrible, terrible start for Asphalt. He started off great, and it just sort of disintegrated relatively quickly, and that's a real shame to see. Hopefully he can recover fairly nicely. There's still quite a long way to go left in this race. As we're barely at the halfway stage yet. You can just see there Aratius back trying everything he can to stay very much with the man ahead of him. But now the battle for the race lead still raging on as well. RK98 trying to get to the inside, and he's almost lost it through there. And as we said before, this just requires a whole different mindset, a whole different method of overtaking as such. Down now into the tunnel. RK98 still looking relatively strong, but a little wobble there for 1.7 petrol, isn't it? Now under the little bridge they go next to the gorgeous boat they've got in the harbour here. Tell you what, that'd be a great place to spectate the race from, wouldn't it? As they go through the chicane again, the seaside double chicane. It's a real challenge with these cars. You don't want to hit the inside barrier, just as 1.7 comes about a millimetre away from doing just that. They go down through the chicane and in towards the final corner to start lap number 5. But things readily picking up here in terms of tension. RK98 has got to find something, and he's got to find it now. Down the main straight they come yet again. Two leaders separated by barely any time at all over the line, less than 7/10 of a second, and that really did minimise as they shuffled their way through turn number 1 in towards the second corner. And RK98 can't quite get himself to the inside just yet. He's trying to break and sneak underneath, and it's just absolutely not working at all, is it, as they begin to climb the side of turn number 3 and 4 yet again. And a big wobble there for petrol, and it has allowed RK98 through. And RK98 may be heading for his first victory for this championship, and his first one of 2015. 1.7 petrol, who I believe is a rookie in this championship. He's making his debut here today. Has got a lot of work to do. The slightest lapse of concentration there costing him dramatically. Though he carries a lot more speed through the tunnel, you can see RK98 is braking very heavily almost. You can see the smoke coming off the back of the car. Whereas petrol's almost flat out through though. He's got to use that to his advantage. He's a little bit quicker through the latter stages of Troyton Raceway. He has to try and capitalise on that, run as close to the walls as he possibly can. I know it can be a bit scary at times, but now making their way back up the hill and to start their penultimate lap very shortly. It's going to be a duel to the end. Is it going to be enough? So now, onto the final corner to start lap number 6 out of 7. RK98 still in control at the moment after a 1.7 petrol wobble at the top of the mountain. Super Saiyan third. What a run it's been there for the bright mustard coloured Super Saiyan car. He's done dramatically well today. Brilliant performance. GT Clean Racer has upped his game since a troublesome start. Doc Green there in 5th. And 6th place is back. Asphalt still struggling in 7th. Molnar after a really tired start. He's down in 8th place, and our only retirement of the day going from Gavaja, who just could not get the run he wanted. He had 2 attempts, but really, and he still couldn't really get them nailed. He really did struggle in the opening laps here at Troyton. But RK98 is really flinging this car around, isn't he? 1.7 petrol. Still there trying to give him absolutely everything and just a little bit more as well. Through the tunnel they come. Ultimate time today. RK98 is keeping his nose clear, but he's very sideways through there. 1.7 petrol having to do a bit more. Super Saiyan there clattering the wall. You've got to wonder if he keeps making those sort of errors. Is GT Clean Racer going to have a run onto the final lap? There's still some battles to be decided as well, as Asphalt and Aratius back in 6th and 7th are relatively close together at the moment, about 7/10 of a second apart. So hopefully these two can get the nitty gritty down out of the way as we're coming towards the 7th and final lap here at Troyton for the first race of the day. Don't forget 3 more to come after this, including the 500 to 900 A race, then the 900 to 1100 B and A races. So RK98 over the start finish line to start his final lap with a 134.815. Now that was almost 5/10 of a second quicker than what 1.7 petrol is. So that's a real tricky scenario here for the X-Race leader to try and put himself in, but he's got to try and capitalise on this before it's simply too late. Very wide line there by the race leader, but it's not going to cost him too much, I don't think. And now as everyone shuffles their way down through the other side again, past the lighthouse, the rest of the drivers looking to try and bring the cars home, but for RK98 it's more of a conservative effort into the final third of the lap. The last thing he wants to do is bin it now. He's worked so hard to get himself in this position, he cannot afford to let it go. Let's just see how RK98 can handle this then. We've got Super Saiyan there as well. It's still a relatively close threat. It's not guaranteed, but as they now dice their way through that double chicane again in towards the last few corners, I think RK98 is going to be untouched. He's driven fantastically well here today in that community-inspired livery. What a great choice of colours it really is. And through the final corner, it doesn't only look great, it doesn't only sound great, but it also has been driven great. RK98L comes over the start-finish line now to become the first winner of your 6XJ4 Championship for 2015. What a win it was there for RK98. 1.7 petrol will be disappointed that he let first place go, but happy with a podium. Super Saiyan can be satisfied with his third place drive. 4th for GT Clean Racer, 5th for Dot Green, Molnar in P6, 7th for Asphalt, 8th for Aces, and our only retirement to the day, Gabaja. So a great way to start our 2015 6X Championship, the 64XJ car that's been recently added into Simraceway. 6XJ4, a new type of racing, and it's going to be a new type of winner that erupts here today from the Troyton Raceway. From myself, Liam Jenkins, we'll be back very shortly. Hello everybody, just before we get started with the second race in our 6XJ4 Championship live from Troyton Raceway, we thought we would quickly run you through the grid order as how things are going to line up. With the grids being adjusted, it's going to be an entertaining battle, and the hot lap sets that we ensured earlier in the week were definitely ones you didn't want to miss. It started off with a great qualifying session. Andanov is going to start from pole position with Matt Walker in second, making his debut here today, as it's a man sat directly behind him starting on row 2 of the grid, and that man is Mapashito, so we'll see how he can do. He's looking strong so far. Kobayashi 10 and Master Rocco, the first of the STEV boys, starting in P5 with Shut01 in 6th, Majima 7th, Chaos in 8th, WTTNM1 in 9th place, STEV Yardstick the second and last of the STEV team in this race. We've got Aga 1601 in 11th, NASCAR in 12th, Bajite 13th, and Rob Weintraub in 14th. But obviously a couple of adjustments, so things may well be set to change. I believe we've got Agus and NASCAR 88 fan standing in for a couple of drivers as well, so we will get ready for this race very shortly. But this is a brand new car, the Simraceway, the 6XJ4, available for a very cheap price as well, so be sure to get over to the garage. It's just rolled out of the Simraceway Motor Company, and you're going to see very, very soon just how fun it is to drive. 7 laps kicked off the first round of the 6XJ4 Championship, and it's double for the 500 to 900 A race here at the gorgeous raceway that we're going to be encountering here today. Troyton is definitely one to watch out for. It's modelled very closely, of course, to Bathurst in recognition of the memorable 12-hour race that took place just a few hours ago, which ended a few hours ago in fact. But now we've got to focus because handing off alongside a rookie car in second. Matt Walker with a great launch off the line, and that yellow 6XJ4 now into the lead provisionally. They're side by side. He's going to wrap it right the way around the outside and put a gift bear on it, and he's not going to get it, and he's been punished dearly for being a bit overzealous. He's gone way, well, been clattered there by what must, I think it was Aegis, and maybe a restart inbound, I'm not too sure. We're going to wait for an official call from the administrator, I think. Yeah, there's definitely one on the way then, so there was contact early on, a couple cars involved. We'll be right back with you shortly. So hopefully third time lucky as the cars line up on the grid. Matt Walker joins, as we said before, we learned a very harsh lesson very quickly. That you cannot get too excited here on the mountain. We've got cars all the way lined back to about 14th position. Watch out for Kobayashi. Matsushito said that he's very intrigued to see how he can do today. Feeling a bit nervous, and now Matt Walker, it may have just taught me a wrong lesson. He's learned his lesson and he's moved on to a higher level of education. He's now fighting for the lead on the inside there, and we've already lost Landon. He's down to P5. fourth. It's the pole sitter. The field goes squirming up the mountainside for the first time. Much cleaner, a little bit of banging and clattering in the background. We've got one car spun round. It's a martini coloured community livery one belonging to Chaos, I believe. So luckily not too much of a chaotic start though overall. We've got another one there, one of the black white of the vehicles. That's Andenov. That's our pole sitter. So down to 10th already then for Andenov. Things already are not looking too good, are they, for that white 6XJ4? We'll see how we can recover, but a start is very pivotal at a circuit this narrow. He's really starting to struggle. He's got Maximus up ahead of him. Just in front of him, there's WTT and M1. It's a long line of cars he's got to get through now. Look at what the other cars are doing. Meanwhile, Matt Walker's been left to his own devices really at the front of the field. He's done very well so far. 2.9 seconds clear. Look at that long snaky car shuffling their way through the chicane. Walker goes a bit wide and he's going to be followed there by Mapashito, who's done extremely solidly so far. He said he was nervous and he couldn't contain it with all the restarts, but it may have still paid out well for him as they go over the start finish line. He's 4 seconds away from the lead of the race. He's also 3 seconds ahead of Kobayashi. Not a bad place to be at all at the moment. Kobayashi third, fourth is Egan 1601, fifth was Shut 01. Sixth place second, going to try and take it from him now. It's WTTNN trying to attack Bashard on the inside. He's been unable to make it stick, however. Andenov there receiving a drive-through penalty supposedly. Now we don't know if this will be revoked or no. It could be for exceeding track limits or trying to ride the barriers. Right now. That midfield as ever in Simraceway looking extremely congested, no doubt about it. It's looking a little bit messy back there at the moment. Everyone's going to settle down. It's a long, long race. We just don't know how much it's going to be. So we've got there, that's a drive-through penalty, I'm assuming, for Aegis 1601. So yeah, just an update on what had happened there. Aegis has got a drive-through penalty. Something like that. Seriously making his way into the pit lane, just up ahead at the lead. Mapashito's going to have to look at those nerves a bit quicker than expected, isn't he? He's only a couple of seconds away from Matt Walker and that bright yellow button 6XJ4, and look at Mapashito there. He's really giving it 110%, but almost lost control, and it's not something you want in this car. The 6XJ4 is starting to really come into its own now on lap number 3. The keyboard racer goes over the line. For the race leader, it's a 134.8 and a 135 flat for Mapashito, so not that different at the moment. Kobayashi still in the distance as well, lingering, just waiting to pounce. Shut 01 in 4th. WTTNN in 5th place. Maximus still P6. Master Rocco down in 7th place at the moment. Robin 8th. Yardstick still P9 with Andenov. Pole sitter at the start of the race down in P10. He's done, well, what can be described as an average recovery job. He's still got so long to go. We'll see if he can just maybe pull his race back forward again. He's been quite lucky in the fact that the midfield hasn't separated out too much. It's still relatively congested, still relatively close together, which means that his charge back forward is going to be considerably easier than if he's had to make up 6-7 seconds of ground to get the car ahead of him. So it may not all be over for him just yet. We'll have to wait and see how he can adapt to this situation. Though it's difficult, isn't it, to maintain that kind of mentality of aggression and winning when you've been knocked down so far off your perch. You may as well have to make a nest on the ground. Get ready to come towards the end of lap number 3. Andenov almost tagging the back of one of the SDEV cars there. That one's Yardstick. Identical white colour livery. Through the chicane and in towards that final corner. Again round the outside. It's a brave move for the pole sitter. And it hasn't really paid off for him, has it? And now it's in a delightfully good slipstream as he makes his way down into the first corner yet again. Can he get to the inside or no? The first corner's not ideal for overtaking, but it's not going to stop. And then up the pole sitter charging through. It's an authoritative move, and he does get a bit of a tap, but he does make it into 9th place. So his race is starting to come back alive again. Here comes Chaos up the outside. Oh my goodness me! Chaos storms through out of nowhere. A complete shot manoeuvre there for him. Antonov caught way off guard, sent into the barrier, and now Chaos is side by side with the yardstick over the crest of the mountain, down towards the lighthouse again. Chaos is on the inside, and he should have that nicely wrapped up indeed. Yes, he does. And yardstick down in P10. Now back to the outside here. This is getting a bit racy. I told you earlier about the conversation between myself and Corsacco, saying that there may not be as much overtaking here as we'd like, but I'll tell you what, these drivers giving it a run for their money, aren't they? They're taking these cars and making them look more feisty than any car we've seen at Bathurst. This is phenomenal stuff so far. Maximus on the outside there, and a big shout out as well to anyone watching the YouTube stream at the moment. Be sure to get involved in the comment section of the YouTube channel. Don't forget that if you do have any questions for us here, we'll try and get them shouted out for you as soon as we can and get them answered. And big hello as well to, I think that's my High HD, who's watching this channel at the moment. So hello to you, you're having a nice Sunday afternoon. I'm sure it's only going to get a little bit more entertaining as the race wears on. Now everyone just settling down a little bit into their groove now. It's what you want. Everyone now taking a step back, taking a breather, but Kobayashi, Mapashito's gone from attacking for the race lead to defending that second place with everything he's got. Not even halfway through the race yet, and Kobayashi 10 is somehow struggling to get through, and the rookie starting to wear his colours very, very visibly on his sleeve. Shooting down into the tunnel for yet another time on lap number 5, and you've got to feel like Mapashito has got some ace up his sleeve. The only time we'll tell him he can unleash it though as they go through the chicane again. Just watch a quick on board of him there, and he wasn't looking too troubled to say the least. But what we're going to do now, I think, is take a look on board. I think the best person to join right now, if we can, would be SDEV Master Rocco, currently chasing down his teammate as he makes his way back now in towards the mountain again, towards that final tricky corner. He's doing so well, and you can listen to the engine sound of this gorgeous car, and on board there as Shut 01 goes wide. He's have to recover quite well and quickly, because Master Rocco may take it from him. Everyone starting to try and capitalise on errors now, and I think Master Rocco may be the next in line there. Bit of argy-bargy, still side by side, Shut defending valiantly there. Master Rocco's got to be careful because now his own teammate has taken it through, so Yardstick overtakes him. And that was a little bit cheeky, wasn't it? I'm sure they'll have something to say about that after the race, and yes, that was a quick little move, very influential indeed. Meanwhile, Chaos is trying to get past Rob Nitro on the outside, and he's not able to do it there. Shut flies up into the gravel, and lucky there's a barrier there, otherwise he'd be swimming back to the track. But Shut 01 rejoins very quickly, but down in 11th position. And now that long line of cars is somewhat divided into two very intense groups. Chaos up to 6. Now set his sights on WTTN M1. We'll see what he's got in this sort of situation. With the chicane. And Matt Walker still leads though. Mapashito dropping back a little, about 7 seconds behind now. Kobayashi 10 still tracing in his footsteps. He's about 1.5 away, so there's an update on how the field are doing at the moment. Maximus P4 doing relatively well. Actually, would have been one of the picks before the race, wouldn't he, to get a top 5. He's been performing consistently well in the past few races. Chaos still P5 though. He's really shown his true colours here today, and they're definitely that of white, red and blue for Martini. Oh, this very good Simraceway community livery is absolutely gorgeous. Now, I will get confirmation shortly as to who created this, because I do want to give them a special shout out in the broadcast. It's absolutely gorgeous, and a lot better than anything I could ever do on Microsoft Paint, I can tell you now. But we turn our attentions back to what's going on at the top of the mount at Troyton here. Yardstick still in 8th place, 9th place belonging to Master Rocco at the moment. Rob Nitro trying to overtake Yardstick, who's in an SDEV sandwich. But one which I'm sure he's quite liking the taste of bacon at the moment. He's right in the midfield, he's going to get some good points if he can stay there. However, we've seen Rob race a million times before. We know what he's like, we know how sensational this man can be given the right circumstance. He really can be driven to push that car harder than most other people. And now let's try and keep an eye then on what Rob Nitro can do. Looking a bit further behind as well. And the Northern NASCAR 88 fan again! Somehow not making contact there. That is beyond me how they've done that. NASCAR 88 fan has shuffled his way through, relegating our pole sitter even further down the order to 13th. There's a lesson to be taken away from this race alone. Qualifying does not mean everything. And the novice struggling currently. And NASCAR 88 fan has just taken him from hell to depths even below that, because now to the inside of turn 1. And the novice having to try again. And how did this fare out last time? The circumstance wasn't quite the same. But Andonov's going to still have to defend that outside line. NASCAR trying to sweep through. He's done so well. Andonov does retake top position for a little consolation though. He's got about half the race to go and still nothing crazy just yet. Next up on this then is going to be Shut 01. So we'll see if he can put a move on him as well. Make that push towards the top 10. In that midfield, it's starting to get extremely intense at the moment. Rob Nitro, Master Rocco and Vijay all again line astern at the moment. Two of them with their lights on. Vijay being the dark horse, that little underdog that he's so used to being. Master Rocco chasing down Rob Nitro through the double chicane before starting another lap of this tremendously great circuit. A big shout out as well to Damien Moore, who's currently joining us in the YouTube chat. So apologies for some technical difficulties at the moment. I'll do my best to try and fill you in with what's going on the circuit. The commentary may be a bit delayed. We're on lap 9 of 14 currently, about to start lap number 10. I think I've got a bit of a problem with my game, so I'll try, as I say, to keep you updated. We saw there just previously Master Rocco having a very close encounter with the ball. He's now down to 9th position with Shut behind him. We've got Vijay, Rob Nitro just ahead in 8th and 7th at the moment, as they made their way down through the mountain pass. So still a real few laps to go, and we can see that Noddy Racer really giving a lot of respect there to Andonov. He hasn't given up, and it is a real racer right there, as Noddy Racer once said. He really hasn't been pushing on. It's easy to give up, isn't it? You start from first, you find yourself in 12th at the very early stages. It's quite easy to give up and not want to fight on anymore, but he's done gracefully well and trying to push his way back through, and he's done it for the love of the game, isn't he? Really is trying to push himself to the next level, which is what you want from a racer here in Simraceway. And if that's not a testament to how dedicated everyone is in this game, then I don't know what is. Vijay there getting very sideways previously. That may still be a recurring issue if he's losing control of the car. Alex Jusian now joining the YouTube chat as well, so big hello there to Alex. A whopping 30 viewers. It's great to see so many of you tuning into the action here from Troyton Raceway. Everyone moves through turn number 1 on lap number 10. So still 5 laps remaining, and Matt Walker, the rookie, is starting in P2 alongside Antonov. He's able to really assert himself on turn number 1. Since then has been able to run away with the race. We've still got Bajaj and Rob Nitro battling there though fiercely up through turn number 3 and 4, and Bajaj was trying to get to the inside, wasn't quite able to do it though. The outside in towards that very tricky corner where we saw Shut 01 spin off a few moments ago was never to be an overtaking point on the circuit, was it really? Everyone's skating through into the tunnel now yet again, and it's almost like they're skating on thin ice. These cars are so difficult to control. Everyone somehow mastering them at the moment. It's a real talent, isn't it, to keep these all in order and in check. And Lazarus there giving me a warning to get ready for the 900 races. I mean, I'll do my best, but I can't promise that my throat isn't going to blow up. I think it might do. If the quality of racing from these are anything to go by, it's going to be an explosive start to the championship. So if you're not racing tonight, be sure to get yourself some popcorn, some lemonade, or if you're over the age of 18, I think it's 21 in America, get yourself some alcohol as well. And I'm sure it's going to be an entertaining evening of racing, no doubt about it. We've seen a breathtaking finish at Bathurst. Let's see what Troyton Raceway has to offer there. Bajaj and Rob Nitro again trying to get himself to the inside. That was at turn number 1 previously. The two were side by side. Bajaj made it look relatively easy before doing what everyone seems to do at turn number 1, taking a bit too much curb. Was able to hold on to the move though. Bajaj unable to pull it off just yet. He tried to get himself back to the inside, climbing up the mountain. But Rob Nitro just proved too much on the day though. These two are going to have a nice run to the flag. I can sense it already. It's not going to be a calm move. Now down through past the lighthouses again. These three drivers all trying so hard at the moment to keep their heads nice and calm, not let them get hazy or any interfering thoughts intervene. It's the last thing you want to do from a driver's perspective is lose your cool in this sort of scenario. It's very easy to do though. It's the simplest of tasks, and I think even the best of drivers have struggled. Just ask Gator or Colin, no one's perfect here, and with the track is physically exerting as well. It's not like it's going to be an easy run to the flag for any of the 14 remaining drivers in this race. It's a full grid still going out there, bear in mind, so everyone driving extremely well and consistent at the moment, which is what you want from a field of Simraceway drivers in a new car, a new circuit. You can expect a few upsets, a few maybe retirements, but so far so good. I've had a couple of shaky starts, but other than that, it's pretty much spot on by all of the drivers here today. They go over the line again to start yet another lap. So that's number 12 of 14 then. And now it's a bit of a move. That was now a shot, I think, who lost control. Bajaj was side by side with Master Rocco, and Shut made one of the most breathtaking moments of racing. Now was able to move his way through, but I think he really did struggle, and he may get penalised for it. I don't think it was completely intentional at all. He had a real bit of hesitant about him, didn't he? And Bajaj trying to jump to the inside, not able to make the move stick. Now everyone else trying as hard as they possibly can to stay with him. Everyone trying to cheer on Master Rocco there in the chat as well. It's all getting a little bit fiery, isn't it? With just 2.5 laps remaining. It's anyone's race here. That may have been one of the boldest moves possible there though from Shut 01. I don't know how you can get more authoritative than that. That was absolutely sensational. This is a problem there with delayed commentary. I wish that I'd have seen it live, but unfortunately some technical difficulties. I mean, I'm just trying to do my best to fill you in on all of the gaps at the moment, but he swung it through there absolutely blisteringly. And I thought we said, as we said earlier, that these cars aren't really primed for overtaking. Well, you guys obviously haven't met Shut 01 then, have you? Because that was simply beautiful. The Master Rocco trying to hold on the inside there against Bajaj. It hasn't worked. Penultimate lap of the race here, about to get underway. Matt Walker still leading by quite a phenomenal amount of time at the moment, so it could well be a first victory and a first race here for Matt Walker, and what an accomplishment that really would be for young Matt Walker. Sure, he'd be amazed to see that, wouldn't he? He'd love to move his way back to the front of the field and get himself a victory. But everyone has driven so well today. It's going to be said everyone deserves a round of applause, because these cars on this circuit is just asking for trouble or unpredictability. But it seems that they've all delivered so well here today. Saw there as well, that was Chaos and Yardstick encountering a bit of a duel at the moment. It was along the outside that Yardstick's having to defend, as Chaos has been quite the protagonist today when it comes to overtaking. Yardstick drifting out very wide there. Into double chicane for the penultimate time today. The next time they go through here could be the deciding time, as Yardstick went wide and Chaos snuck through, being the opportunistic driver that he is. So Chaos through a position yet again. And let's just see what this man's capable of then. Through they come. Over the start-finish straight yet again. Shut 0-1 after that breathtaking move just a couple of laps ago. Has got a long way ahead of him. One more lap to go until he gets 8th position. It's going to feel like a win. Diving into the first corner. That's what you guys saw on screen just a moment ago. And again, apologies for the delay in commentary. It will all be fixed for the next race. Trying to get to the outside as you saw climbing up the mountain there, staggering through with this gorgeous 6XJ4. You can get it in Simraceway, just $2.50 at the moment. So I think you can get Subways for more. I think this is cheaper than Subways actually in most places. Yeah, so there you go. For the price of a Subway, you can get yourself an absolute stormer of a car. And now Master Rocco may have gone wide, and he's just tapped it a bit too much. And Master Rocco into the wall. One of the fan favourites there has really not had a great end to the race. As we come towards the end of the lap though, Matt Walker is going to come on the end of his first race. He started alongside our pole sitter who disappeared down the order, picked up the pieces and ran away to create a masterful jigsaw puzzle. Matt Walker 12 seconds clear, wins the first round of the 6XJ4 Championship. What a drive for Matt Walker. Kobayashi 10, a podium. What a way to start for Kobayashi. And then his debut race as well, his two rookies on the podium. Mapashito gets himself inside the top 3. Chaos with a deserved 5th position there, just ahead of Yardstick. We saw Rob Nitro in 7th, Shut in 8th, Vajite in 9th, Aegis after a drive-through in 10th, Master Rocco 11th, NASCAR in 12th place. 13th was Andanov, disappointing there, but he didn't give up. And WTTNNN in 14th position. But what an incredible race that really was. Absolutely brilliant stuff. So, from myself, Liam Jenkins, we'll be right back with you for the 900 to 1,100 Skillquant races coming up to you live from Detroit Raceway. Okay, so before we get the 900 to 1100 Skillquant getting underway, what we're going to do is run you through the grid for the race. There are 5 position penalties. They've all been applied. So 5 position grid drops for the following drivers. They would have all been applied by now, though. So Andre Parser, Bill, Gingala, Alex, Enrico, Engange and Andy Bob. So the grid with all of that applied looks a little something like this. So it'll be the flow that starts on pole position with Pro Driver in second. Pope will start in P3 with Noddy Racer just behind him, rounding out the second row of the grid. That's why in there as well you've got Hesh 838. Andre Parser lines up to round out row number 3. Acosta 88 behind him. Then it's Bill 79. Then Cairo Gingano dropping way down because of that position drop. We've got STEV, Alex Zuzin, and Rikos in just behind there. Then it's ATS Engange, so a new team on the block here for Engange. But that 5-place grid drop is not doing him any favours. And Andy Bob also suffering a grid drop as well. So all of those being applied, that's how your field line up for today though. And if you're just tuning in, welcome everybody to a very sunny, very warm track here at Troydton Raceway. And it's going to be an incredible start to the brand new Simraceway Championship. You've seen the advert on your Simraceway home screen. It is a new type of racing. The 6XJ4 about to encounter the circuit. The opening round can often be very unpredictable. Watch out for Hesh 838. Watch out for Acosta 88. 2 drivers right in the heart of the midfield who are destined to make some waves here today. One man you really want to keep an eye on though could be Alex Zuzin. He starts way down the order, just 4 places up from the bottom of the field, and with a grid drop applied as well, it's not where you want him to be. But the STEV star has got a lot of work to do, and if he can get himself a good result, he may be one of the most formidable drivers in this grid. We're all going to see how it pans out though. We'll be back live for the race in just a few moments' time. then live for the next round of your 6th XJ4 Championship. And what a start it's been so far. Forward flow, not in second. Third pro driver to go to turn number 1. Watch out for any contact. There may be a call for a restart, but it's all looking too tidy so far. Very good start by the drivers. It's got to be said. They're going to put a jinx on it, but that was the cleanest start we've seen all afternoon, and it does not get much better than, okay, yeah, we've had a spin. So one car spins around, and that car belonging to Popo CZ. Other than that, though, it's been a tremendously clean start. So 20 laps of this Troyton Raceway circuit, enduring itself now upon these drivers. They've got to try and conquer it. Slow there on the inside of Pesh 838. We said to watch out for him. Currently just sits snugly inside the top 5. He enters the tunnel. He's got a lot of work to do, but he's keeping himself nice and collected inside the cockpit at the moment. Down in towards that hairpin. Watch out for a recourse, and the flow into the barrier there, and that's not good news for him. He goes straight back across the circuit. Everyone misses him. Quite luckily, though, he's able to continue his ventures on. But this circuit, which really is a blend of Monaco meeting Bathurst, is going to be a real challenge for these drivers, as Enriquez finds out first hand, jumping over the curbs and losing a position to Zhuzhen. We said watch out for Alex Zhuzhen. He started in 10th place, he's now up to 7th already, so Zhuzhen is making a lot of progress. The waves are coming, and now let's see if he can attack Ganj, who's one position up from him. Over the start, finish straight. Through he goes yet again. The man has been unpredictable so far today. In towards turn number 1, he's going to fly now. Now watch at top 4 as well. And Costa trying to attack the 3rd place. We said that's another man to watch out for, himself and Hesh between them. And they've done very, very well so far, haven't they? It's got to be said. In the opening lap or so, it's been arguably one of the cleanest we've seen from the drivers. And now they start to split up. The 2 leaders pulling away of Noddy and the man chasing him. He's currently on direct pass. Pro goes a bit wide there, and that's going to promote a Costa into 3rd position. So it's 3rd place currently for him, though. He's still got a long, long way to go. Now shuffling their way down through past that bridge again. Down through. Looking back now what the intrigue of Tyro is going to mean for Andy Bob, because at the moment things are looking relatively straightforward for Andy Bob, but he's going to try and find a way through relatively soon as Clark 10 loses a position there to Popo CZ. Inside, the answer is not quite. And now down the main straight they come again. Clark 10 going to try and counter him and get to the inside. And he's at the inside of turn 1. Popo trying to swing it around the outside and hold on, and he's not quite done it. 28 is going to be watching this right now and seeing what he's got in store, maybe waiting to capitalise on an error, because Popo's still breathing down his neck extremely heavily at the moment. And let's just see what he's got then in towards that very tricky hairpin again. That's where shot 0 1 span last time round, and now as they make their way through the double right-hander and into the tunnel, Popo's got to be ready for this, and Clark 10 defending extremely heavily. Sierra 28 about 1.4 seconds away at the moment. Under outside, a lot of 90-degree corners here. It's not boding well for any newcomers to Simraceway, but everyone's mastering this circuit at the moment in the opening few laps. Down into the chicane comes Popo, following Clark 10 closely, intently, watching his every move, praying he can find a way through. He hasn't been so lucky just yet. You can see there we've got a bit of an Andre Parser fan club on the way. HA3, you just saw a moment ago there, going a little bit too deep into that hairpin, but everyone cheering on Andre Parser, and now down the main straight they come then. Look at A Costa, he almost opens up there for a bit of a move on Pro Drive. I think much better of it, and you can only blame him from that sort of position. It's just suicide to go through there. But as things stand, it's Andre Passer that leads. And it's Franco Berry right to be cheering. He's in front of Noddy Racer at the moment. Pro Driver in third. Then it's A Costa, Heshake 38 fifth, and Julian in sixth. The three drivers we said to keep an eye on are currently so close together. You've got to feel like there's some comeuppance there. Side by side they go. Pro front sneak down the inside. He really hasn't been able to at the moment, and he's still side by side. Pro now up to third, so let's see what A Costa can respond with though. Can he get maybe to the outside? He's got to run out of room. But some of those brakes very early, and it's a scary place to be. And it's even more intimidating when Heshake 38 is breathing down your neck heavily. It's almost like being chased by a dragon, isn't it? Towards the chicanes for the fourth time today, and Heshake 38 a millimetre away from clobbering the inside barrier. He's extremely lucky there, no doubt about it. Now into the final turn. Let's just see what these drivers are capable of then. Down that main straight again, and it's scary how quick these cars are. They're already almost at 140 miles an hour, side by side there, and A Costa's gone round the outside into turn one, and she's going to go on the inside as well, but he can't quite get the room that he needs, and he's tried so hard to get through, and it just hasn't quite paid off for him. And these three leaving it all out on the race circuit at the moment. But for now, it looks like at least that A Costa has moved his way into third position with an excellent choice of car positioning now. He's got two cars so close behind him, they may as well be conjoined. A bit wide. Pro Driver's still fourth, and Heshake 38 is in P5. Now let's see what Ash can do then as he goes to the inside and now down to the chicane, taking a look actually at what's going on a bit further down the field. We've got Enrico and Ganj, obviously the new team ATS. Looking for their first top 10 finish in their first race. It would be a monumental achievement, and Ganj looking to be the provocateur of it. He's now just a few seconds ahead of Enriquez at the moment, but that is still set to change very soon. Again, massive hello to everyone who's watching this broadcast at the moment. We saw there Hesh trying to move around the outside of Pro Driver, our cameraman Dimitri doing a good job. That was a few corners ago. But now everyone's too focused on moving their way into turn one and thinking about the here and now other than what just happened a few moments ago. That long yellow standout there of Alex Yusian still holding P6 affirmatively strong at the moment, with Tyro just behind him on the outside. Unable to capitalise on anything just yet though. This circuit really is an error circuit, and by that I mean there's no real guaranteed overtaking space without the driver in front of you making some sort of error. No matter how big or small, it becomes ridiculously difficult to get through if a driver is performing at his very best, and this is what Tyro will be discovering right now. Alex Yusian, the SDEV star, is doing extremely well in 6th position, but he's got to try a bit harder if he wants a top 5, and Tyro's just got to mirror his every single move, and through that tunnel there doing speeds of close to 130 miles an hour. It's so difficult to get right, isn't it? Almost thought for a moment there that it could have been a surprise move, but no such luck just yet. It's all just a case of can Tyro move his way back forward yet again, or is it too late? Oh, and he's clobbered the wall. Tyro, I think he's clobbered someone. Now, was that a wall or a moving vehicle? I was watching the onboard. It looked like it was Pro Driver. I may be wrong. I'm pretty sure that was a Pro Driver invoked incident. The two drivers there definitely collided. And that's not good news for either of them, is it? And now Tyro's got himself a long way to go. Now Tyro trying to reassert himself in 7th position behind Popo at the moment. really working, is it? As of right now. And now down through the inside again. Tyro doing very, very risky driving there. Almost put a wheel on the grass. He's lucky to not really spin there, but we'll see how he goes. Just a bit of time to Popo. Now into that tricky left-hander again, dipping through, and Tyro's keeping his head where it needs to be. He's keeping his car very well positioned. And now let's just try and keep a close eye on what's going on at the front of the field, because amidst all the action in the midfield and the battles between 6th and 7th, we've now got an entire war on our hands for the race lead. So Noddy and Andre Passer currently. It's Andre that leads with Noddy Racer in second as we get relatively close to the halfway stage in this race. It's all going to come a test of endurance, no doubt about it. And Noddy Racer going a bit too wide there, but he is chasing very, very hard. Now, the tunnel, here we go again. Noddy Racer in the dark, there's no headlights on here. Now, out of the two curbings again, we've got Acosta still third, and Acosta's intrigued me today. And the flows were tight, so we've just received information now then that the flow is out of the race. Acosta, meanwhile, is 10 seconds behind Noddy, 9 seconds ahead of Hesh838. Last time we checked on him, he was so far forward. So that man really is making progress. Acosta, we said to keep an eye on him, now into the podium positions and relatively unchallenged at the moment. Hesh838 still 4th, Zhuzhen still 5th after escaping the clutches of his STEV teammate. Andy Bob has got another war on his hands entirely though. He's got to take his distraction away from his teammate ahead of him. There's no rear gunner support. It's Popo and Tyro trying to take him through. Trying to keep an eye on if there's going to be any overtaking moves, but not just yet. Popo CZ is not able to make a way through, almost on the inside there. Unfortunately, not quite close enough, but you've got to feel there is an impending move coming in the battle for 6th and 7th place. The STEV driver, Andy Bob, is not looking too comfortable through the tunnel, is he? Popo runs a lot closer to the wall, a bit too scarily close almost. Going through that double sandy chicane into the final corner. Keep an eye very closely on Enrico Selingange at the moment. Let's just keep very close movements. Those headlights are on there for Pro Driver, don't forget as well. The Andre Passer fan club still very much alive at the moment, but Pro Driver is in a world of trouble. Everyone's just saying to keep Andy Bob where he is at the moment. It's become a world-class battle between Andy Bob, Popo and Tyro, and Andy doing everything he can. The STEV teammates cheering him on, but Popo and Tyro are now side by side. And through the chicane there was no real sign of a battling squabble, but Andy Bob still wiping the sweat from his forehead. Popo giving him the race of his life at the moment. Now down again. Tyro's got to be thinking that he's going to make his move relatively quickly. Still a long way to go in this race though. Climbing up the hill of the mountain yet again, and Popo braking relatively early there. And I think he may have got into the corner a bit blind. You can see that car struggling for control behind Andy Bob at the moment. Now down the start-finish straight, Tyro's looking a bit more dangerous than he was last time. By his lap time was 3/10 quicker as well. Tyro trying everything he can to prove his masculinity there. Now shuffling their way up to the side of the mountain again. We've got Sierra 28, the kind of forgotten SDEV star at the moment. So while we were focusing on all of the other drivers, Sierra 28's been keeping his goal there in 11th, but it's ATS in Ganj who has kept himself way above record at the moment. He wants that top 10 for ATS, and he may just come away with it here today. Maybe even a bit more. We'll have to wait and see what this race has got planned for him though. Now into the right-hander, Tyro, Popo and Andy Bob. All three drivers still relatively close together. Down into the chicane for the 11th time today, and Andy Bob is doing a supreme job at the moment. The composure he's keeping has been unparalleled as Tyro and Popo have drifted back a little bit actually in the past few moments, which is a little bit worrying for Tyro at least, because Popo's able to stay with him. It's Tyro that's losing ground. Now this normally wouldn't be such an issue, but Tyro's going to fall right into the clutches of course of Enricos, and that's the man you really don't want to be messing with at all, is it? As we go over the start finish straight again. Down into turn number 1. And Ganj still chasing. In fact, Ganj was looking pretty good last time by, but I don't know what Enricos has been drinking. It's certainly not orange juice. A 1:32.763. That is a huge improvement over his last lap when he's really starting to challenge Tyro and company now. This could well become a four-way battle soon. Popo and Andy Bob have got their own little war to deal with. Tyro is going to have a wonderful problem in the moment in the way of Enricos. If they start fighting and Ganj is going to get involved, this race has got a lot of promise moving into the second half or so. And now to the outside there, you've got Andy Bob and Popo again through the tunnel. I shall see what Popo's capable of. He's almost on the inside there, and if he got any closer, he may have actually traded some paint and left a lovely blue and red smear on the rear end of Andy Bob. Luckily he didn't, and Andy Bob's able to keep the car pointing in the right direction. But as our race leader Andre Parser comes towards the end of yet another lap there, and it's the end of lap number 12 for him, the start of lap number 13. It's a 1:32.1 to boot, so 2/10 faster than the man we were just talking about. Andre Parser leads currently. Second place is Noddy Racer, third A Costa, fourth Hash 838, and he's actually losing a bit of time there to Hash 838. So Costa's losing time in third. Jushin still P5. Andy Bob's in sixth, but only just. And then Tyro and Enricos. That battle, a 1:33.3 from Tyro, 1:33 flat there from Enricos. ATS and Ganj 1:34.5. So a little bit off pace there, and it's 2/10 slower than the man behind him as well. No driver with a 1:34.1. Mark 10 at 1:34 flat, and our only retirement to the day has come from the flow then. So I've only seen one retirement in 2 races. That is looking really, really good for these cars. And a circuit this prolific as well. You know, we do expect a few random incidents or cars to retire, or maybe not even collide with another vehicle or just themselves. Great to see that the attrition rate is so low at the moment. now looking at that group of 4 cars who are starting to jostle around, and I think Garn getting a bit drifty in the very background of the shot, which is no good news for him. What will be good news, however, when these 4 cars start to get all tangled up at the moment. And a big hello to everyone watching, whether it's the YouTube chat or whether it's the Simraceway chat. We'll do our best to get back to all of you, shout as many of you out as we can. As we can see, we got Kobayashi, Tony was in a race earlier on. GT Clean Racer, also nice of you guys to stick around and watch the rest of the action. And meanwhile, Andy Bob over the start-finish line with a 1:34.5, and now Popo seizes the moment to the outside, and it's clinched before him. And he's going to be getting increasingly frustrated in the cockpit of that car right now, isn't he? And everybody's starting to get a little bit more aggressive, aren't they? With 20 minutes into this race there, and Enrico's collides with the barrier at an astonishing level of speed. Popo again to the outside of Tyro. He's trying everything he can. It's Andy Bob that's got the worst view in the world right now. Not 1, not 2, but 3 different of these vehicles all clambering around, trying to desperately pass their way through before it's too late. It is so difficult to predict that it's all going to pan out into the tunnel yet again. And these 4 drivers giving it 120% out there, no doubt in my mind about it. Andy Bob doing the very best he can right now. As you can see, already up to almost 120 miles an hour as he goes braking in towards the chicane. He's going to be followed very closely by Popo, Tyro, Enricos. Garn just inside the top 10 at the moment, still going strong. We've got a battle just behind him even as well, with Sierra and Pro Driver then. So Pro Driver P out in 12th, looking to somehow rectify his race and move his way back forward again. To do that, he's got to get past Sierra at 28, and a big shuffle through there, down past the gravel again. But over the start-finish straight come these drivers. Andre Parser, meanwhile, still keeping Noddy Racer at bay at the front of the order. So great to see all these drivers giving nothing but their finest here today, and that's what you need if you want to climb the ranks of Simraceway or anywhere in life for that matter. You're required to give 110% week in and week out, and this is what we're seeing now. Noddy Racer has got to somehow even overstep that, hasn't he? That lovely livery been painted by a community member here today, being exquisited by Noddy Racer. Absolutely beautiful, and it's taken on a realm of its own right now. Andre Parser, I'm sure, is going to be half looking at the livery and thinking, wow, and half trying to focus on keeping it behind him. Through the chicane come the 2 leaders again. There's barely anything separating at the moment. 3 drivers we said to watch out for before the race: A. Costa, Hesh and Alex Jusian, 3rd, 4th and 5th at the moment. And a big slide there from the race leader, and Noddy's on the grass as well, and Noddy spins! Noddy spins from 2nd, and he hasn't beached it, but it's so vital he gets that going now. And Andre Parser will have a fist pump inside that 6XJ4 car. He may have just won himself his first race of the season, and Noddy may have just done the doings. A. Costa has now got a real shot here. H83 is in P4, Alex Jusian's in P5, Andy Bob is P6, but for not much longer. Here comes Popo then. Can he get to the inside? Now the tension starts to build. The inside of turn number 1 is a drag race. These nimble little 6XJ4. This is a new era of racing, and that is a new era of overtaking. Popo CZ stuck it to the man right there. That was laps and laps of anxiety. He's in the barrier, and all the hard work comes unraveling before his very eyes. Absolutely unbelievable. Andy Bob still somehow keeps 6th position. This is crazy at the moment, what we're witnessing. And now Enrico's fancies a shot. He's up to 7th after passing Tyro. It's great news for Engard, who's just witnessing these 3 cars get closer and closer. Andy Bob must be panicking so much right now. It's like being a robber in a police movie. Question is, who's going to be the one sealing the victory here today, though? Talking of victory as well, Andre Parser following the Noddy Racer spin is now 7 seconds clear as he starts at number 17. Noddy follows in 2nd, it's A. Costa 3rd, Hesh is in 4th, then Jusian. that it's this incredibly long train. I keep referencing the conversation we had, myself and Kosako earlier on in the week, when he said that overtaking may not be prevalent here at the gorgeous raceway that we're competing at here today. And I think, once again, Simraceway oversteps every single expectation. This is just fantastic work by everyone involved here at Croydon Raceway. Andy Bob now under pressure again. It's Enrico's trying his luck to the inside of turn one. This time, the black striped horse is trying to carve his way through. And Andy Bob sees him off yet again. Another threat is in the books. And it's 6.66, the tenth of a second that was done there for Andy Bob, 134.666. But is it going to be a heavenly finish, or the hell going to rise over him? And he's going to lose those 3 positions. Look how close Engange has got to these drivers right now, as well as, again, it's restless driving here from Enricos, and he may have just pulled off the move that could seal him. 6th position, he's through. The SDEV driver is down to 7, and it's now become a 5-car free-for-all as they dart their way towards the tunnel for the 17th time today. A great move there by Enricos, but what a move that was! Into the hairpin, and Andy Bob has got a lot of work to do. He's in a tricky situation. He's either going to be able to keep this up, or he's going to lose it. As soon as you start slipping down the order, it is a slippery slope, and you're not wearing any grippy shoes. You can still find yourself trying to clamber back up again sooner than you can say. Oh, the 6J4, I suppose, but if you haven't picked this car up, this is a sign to do so. It's $2.50 in Simraceway at the moment, and Andy Bob almost took that back from him. But if you want to get involved in this championship, $2.50 for the car. The track is absolutely free of charge. This is what sets Simraceway apart. 3 laps to go, and I wish we had another 30, because Andy Bob's going to try and sneak back through here. We've got 2 different battles going on, and going a bit wide on the grass there, probably just a lot of dirt, yeah. He's going over 4 cars after all, and he's just getting the front end of it, isn't he? But either way, he's still trying to push on. Can't really blame him. They go up through the mountainside yet again, in towards the lovely lighthouse side of the circuit. We may actually have a bit of a war just yet. Acosta is catching Noddy Racer, so Acosta from 3rd, Noddy Racer's in 2nd. A lot left to be desired here. This is going to be an incredible finish. Chicane they come then. Acosta still looking for that podium finish. He'd love to get one, wouldn't he, I think? Now on the outside into the final corner to start the penultimate lap of the race. How are the drivers doing a bit further back? And Rico's has got the pit button. I'm hoping he's not going to have to dive into the pits for a fuel stop or anything like that. That would be absolutely catastrophic blow to his race. He's performed exceptionally well so far. And Ricos now shuffling through the final corner in what could be the most important lap of his life now. 2 to go. He doesn't dive in, so it's not a needed stop. But Andy Bob, Tyro, we've lost Andre Passer now. Hang on a minute. That's meant that... Hold on just a second. No, surely we haven't lost Andre Passer, not now. Andre Passer, who I think was the race leader. There it was. So Andre Passer's gone. The race leaders were told. Now, what's that? A disconnection? Was that a crash or what? The penultimate lap of the race, and now all of a sudden, Acosta is going to short a winner. He's 4 seconds away from Noddy Racer. And the sudden spur of the motivation he's going to get will be through the roof. A big shout out as well to ATS Molnar, cheering on his teammate as well. We've got Nye Raceway, who's cheering on his team at SDEV. Both camps will be up in arms at the moment. Alex Yushin could potentially walk away with a podium for SDEV. And Engange is a few seconds away from what could potentially turn into a top 5 if things go his way. Potentially quite a bit too much. But absolute scenes here then. Final moment of the 18th lap. Andre Passer retires. Surrenders the lead to Noddy Racer, who's just 5 seconds clear of Acosta 88. And that is so heartbreaking to see. The man's been in control since the get-go. And he may not just get to keep that form of glory. Hoping he'll be back for race number 2 to kind of put it all right yet again. But It's a real shame to see him depart in such circumstances. The final lap of the race, though, is well underway, and Enricos must have been drinking some Red Bull inside the cockpit. He's since departed. The rest of those drivers, he's had nothing to do with them whatsoever. He's now 5 seconds clear of Anthony Bob. Tyro sunk back as well. Popo with a chance to take 7th. And overtake Tyro yet again. We said to watch out for Tyro. He's P7 and it could be P8 soon as Popo on the inside. He's on the outside as they climb the mountain. He's going to have to sweep it round, and he may just have enough grip, but he doesn't have enough road, or does he? The two drivers still side by side at the moment as they make their way down in towards the right-hander. And a great move there by Tyro. It's Popo CZ that's running out of room though, still trying to overtake on the inside, still being neglected. And Ngan's just watching, waiting, gently anticipating. I sound like I'm rapping now, but he's looking for a way through. Alex Yushin definitely kicking up some dust there, isn't he? We've got to keep an eye on Noddy Racer now. He's flashing the lights already. It's been the most unlikely circumstance imaginable, but Noddy Racer is going to come over the line to win the first round of the 6XJ4 Championship at Troyton Raceway. What a drive for Noddy Racer. He'll be over the moon with that. He costs to take second. Hesh838 is going to get a podium. We said to watch out for both of those drivers. Both end up on the podium. I should be a panelist somewhere because that is some good prediction work. So what a drive for Hesh838. Zhuzhen takes 4th. He'll be delighted with that. Enricos is going to take a stunning 5th position. Arguably one of the drives of the afternoon. Andy Bob holds on to 6th valiantly well from Tyro and Popo. Nganj moves up to 9th in the end then. So ATS get their first top 10 of the season. Sierra 28 is going to take P10 for the SDEV team. And then we've got Pro Driver 11th, Clark 10, 12th, and out of the race for Andre Parser and the Flow. And that brings us to a nice, tidy end to the penultimate lap of the evening then. So the first round of the 6XJ4 Championship about to go to a close. We've got one more Skillquant for you. The 900 to 1100 Skillquant A race is a few moments away. Don't go anywhere. So we're just moments away from the final race of the first round of our 6xJ4 Simraceway Championship. It's a new type of racing. It requires a different breed of driver and a track which is yet to be proven here today. And the drivers that have encountered it may give you some very varying feedback. It can be the most destructive circuit, the most punishing circuit, but also one of the more beautiful that Simraceway has to offer. In terms of our grid for this championship, there are a few adjustments going into the race. We're missing one of our main drivers, actually, one of our more regular runners. We're missing Lolin Fox, who's off to take care of his baby to help his wife. So from everyone at Simraceway, we hope that everything's well, everything is fine, and we hope to see you back in action very, very soon. So Stuntman Mike's not here as well, and Backers Gaber also not here today, which leaves us with a grid that looks a little something like this. Then it's randomness inside that will start on pole, Shadow Bounty second, Mike's not here in third, so that will all get bumped up. B13 in fourth, Mike in fifth, Jono P6, seventh for STEV Doodle. Rounding out row 4, the AGO6. Backers Gaber is not here also for P9, Luke Sky in 10th, Raceway 11th, Colin Fox 12th, Elite Speedway 13th, and Mr. PA in 14th position. So the drivers that are going to be stepping in place of those ones are going to be Noddy Racer and A Costa. So the drivers who were first and second last race, they're going to have an almighty encounter, aren't they? Bearing in mind they've already driven quite a lot of laps around this circuit. They've got to drive another, I think, about 32 now. Then we've also got either Hesh or Alex. You'll have to wait and see. But this circuit is punishing. This circuit is intriguing. 32 laps of racing and a couple of drivers looking to make an impact. Watch out for Elite Speedway and most of the SDEV boys, but also my main shout for this one to keep an eye on is going to have to be B13A6. He's looking pretty good out there. Let's see what we can do. We'll be right back with you in about a minute's time. So, the 6xJ4 Championship live from Troyton Raceway here in Simraceway, about to get underway. The first round of your 900 to 1100 Skillquant. It's randomness inside on the inside, but will he be on the inside after turn 1? It's a slow start from Bounty, but what a start from row 2 of Jolly and B13. They're all opening out. It's a mess down in turn 1. Everyone vying for an overtaking passage through, but no one's quite got the guts to take it off. It's looking relatively clean again, though. A great start by all involved. They've gone through the first couple of corners unscathed, I think. I don't want to jinx it. There's some headlights on already, which isn't exactly what these guys want at the moment. But my race, we're trying to get around the outside, and he's not exactly got it. Big win with that from AGO6, who's side by side with Jono, and now loses the car, and he's somehow still not making contact. That is some lucky driving there. But somehow all cars are through unscathed. Randomness inside still leading at the moment. And now making their way into the tunnel for the first of 32 times. Jono trying to get around the outside. He's not able to get it right just yet, but here comes Jono in the slipstream. He's P6 at the moment. Heavy on the braking, down to second gear. Jolly almost there with a bit of contact. What a start we've seen here, very fiery indeed. And through the chicane come the field for the opening time today here at Troyton. And randomness inside now going through the final corner. Shadow Bounty in second. Third is B13. So, end of lap 1, randomness, Shadow, B13, Jolly, Doodle, Jono. And AGO6 there, AGO trying to get around the outside at the moment, and he's going to struggle to do it, but he's given it a hell of a push. And he's gone off onto the gravel as a result. I thought he made it stick there for a moment. He's going to cost him dearer in the long run. Now to the top of the hill. And I tell you what, that battle for 5th position is looking very fiery indeed. Doodle on the outside at the moment. Round Jolly he goes, and he's not quite got enough to make it stick through there, but he's going to keep trying. Watch out for Jono. All over that rear end of Mr. Jolly, and Jolly once again using that same pun. He's not going to be too jolly after this because Doodle trying to get heavily around the outside, cut underneath. It almost worked out well. Jolly did go wide, but he was able to catch the slide early on and save himself from hitting the wall. Through over the apex and then go over the crest of the hill. And the rest of the drivers are going to follow suit very soon, and still no retirements just yet. Simraceway's usual Luke and company are all making their way towards the end of lap number 2. Jono's got a world-class battle ahead of him. And Jono's going to really have to step up his mark now. He's got not one but two of the SDEV team right behind him. The black, white and red striped 6XJ4's the most recent car to Simraceway. $2.50 at the moment. You can buy it in the garage if you don't already, and I'm sure this broadcast is going to surely tempt you at least. And now at the Elite Speedway trying to look through, but he's got to watch for his teammate. Doodle trying to go around the outside, and again I don't think I've seen many successful passes through that corner. Tunnel, Doodle still all over the back of Jono, and Jono's having a really torrid time out there at the moment, isn't he? Down into the hairpin again, he's got to the inside. It's a good run he's got, but there's just no room. And as tiny as these cars are, as nimble as they are, still so tricky to get through, and Doodle almost had it mixed there, but run into the climax of the lap yet again. It's still close at the front of the field, to be fair as well. Randomness inside still leads from Shadow Bounty in second. He started pretty poorly off the line, but has since been able to make up that ground, retain his lead, and see how he can go. We've got 32 laps of racing overall. We're on lap number 4 completed already. Don't forget, B1386 still keeping an eye on what these guys are doing. Mr. Jolly P4, Jono 5th, and that train is just ever expanding at the moment. PA, who's in 9th place, is actually just a few seconds away from it, so keep an eye on the TSC EV drivers. Noddy Racers here as well, the man who won the B-race a few moments ago. It's now up to 8th position, almost 7th, there it is now! Bit of contact with that Speedway, and it's kind of almost going to get too waiting for the SDEV star, but as he goes down into the hairpin, he's now behind A Costa and AGO6, so a great start for Noddy Racer. I don't think there'll be a reprimand. It looked a bit self-inflicted to me, however I may be wrong. Through the tunnel, and Doodle 12 still looking particularly feisty on the Lady Marmalade 6XJ4. We've got to make that a hashtag, haven't we? Because that is definitely meaty yellow. It stands out. You're not going to see too little of that one, I think. It will blind you more than the sun, I think, that livery. It's a very eye-catching yellow, to say the least. And Doodle 12 is not going to be liking it. He'll want to shake it off as soon as he can. To make their way through the final turn yet again to start their 5th endeavour of this circuit. Jono looking at the top of his game at the moment. But let's just see what this man is capable of. Everybody trying to make their way through at the moment. So yeah, we're not wrong at the moment. So the Noddy incident was self-inflicted. There is no penalty coming from that one. If you're just joining us, hello everybody. Welcome to the $1,000 championship for the 6XJ4 car at the moment. It's $2.50 in Simraceway to pick up, and for $2.50 you've got a chance to win part of a $1,000 prize pool across 4 Skillquants. This is what these drivers are competing for today. This circuit very much reminiscing the Bathurst 12 hour that we saw earlier on. You can see just how intense it's getting as well. This new car fresh into Simraceway, one of the latest additions that we've got here, and AG06 now trying to put a fresh move on PA before they get to the tunnel. I said earlier, overtaking was not to be expected here, but we've been showed wrong, haven't we? There has been more action here than I've seen in quite some time. It's definitely fiery to watch indeed. Down in towards the left-hander again. Bit of a slide there from PA, who's currently in 8th position. AGO following, watching very closely. The martini-coloured community design livery there of Noddy Racer, the race winner from the 900 to 1100B race a few moments ago. He's already completed 20 laps. By the end of this race, he's completed 52 laps of the Troyton Raceway circuit in just an evening's race. Oh, he might not after that there. He's been punted off into the gravel, and he's got to get his way back onto the circuit. He's done so very luckily, but he's going to lose out positions there to, well, I believe to be Luke Sky and 9 Raceway. Yes, it is. So down to 13th. Not good news for Noddy Racer. We've got to take a look at the lead, because randomness inside is going to be under a lot of pressure at the moment. Then Shadow Bounty has been reeling him in like a fisherman, but is he going to leave with a big catch, or is he going to go home empty-handed just with a can of worms? Let's find out. Down in towards the right-hander again. Noddy retires, and he's not happy, and unfortunately it won't be 52 laps. The commentator's curse there was put on it, and the race winner from race number 3 of the evening has retired early on after contact. There may be a penalty for the other party involved, but you've got to feel for him. He was hoping for a big result there. He was inside the top half of the field after just overexerting himself in a 20-lap brawl for the lead of that race. So it's getting very fiery for him, and maybe just a bit too much on the day. You can't blame him. It's a big ask to compete in not just 1 but 2 races around a circuit this demanding as well, with a car this unpredictable. Down through that chicane again into the final corner come the race leaders. Randomness inside, still keeping his head where it needs to be. Very focused in the martini-coloured 6XJ4 here at Troyton. Hello everybody, if you are just joining us, don't forget to tweet us at Simraceway. Give yourself a little shout out on the broadcast or find out any information you need to. And Shadow Bounty might want to find out how to overtake on the outside of turn 1, because he's struggling through there despite searching for every option. He's got an inside run. There's barely any room, and the race lead being contested on lap number 7. And the race lead may have just changed. Shadow Bounty in control for now. Can he hold the inside line as they clamber up the mountainside? He may have just walked away with it. Randomness inside, still all over the back, having to go around the outside. He will be on the inside line for the next corner, but it's so difficult to get right. And Shadow Bounty might have just walked away. The happier man here. He will indeed. Shadow Bounty now in the lead of the race, and it's going to be a big ask for him to keep randomness inside at bay though. Through the tunnel, speeds of almost 130 miles an hour if you take it right. And randomness inside is going to be careful he doesn't plough into the back of Shadow Bounty. That would be absolutely catastrophic for both drivers there. But Shadow now in the lead of the race after an impressive pass. Now we'll see what he can do for the remaining 2/3 of the race. Well, lap number 7 at the moment. We've still got a long way to go. Let's go on to lap number 8 now, and we'll see who the faster the 2 leaders were. I can assure you though, it's going to be Shadow Bounty. And don't forget as well, if you want to enter livery contest. The Martini livery has already caught a lot of people's attention. I've seen some discussions rising up in the chat that we've got the community livery contest for the 6XJ4. And there are some fantastic entries as well. I'm just going to quickly retweet them on my Twitter. If you haven't seen them already, the Simraceway Twitter at Simraceway, or my one at Liam Jenkins 21. The images of some of the best community designs are available to see on both Twitters, and I'll tell you what, they look absolutely brilliant. If some of these guys don't get jobs in motorsport marketing, then there is something wrong, because they are looking fantastic at the moment. But making their way down past the lighthouse still are the two leaders. We've got B1386 in third, it's Jolly still fourth, Jono still holding fifth, and he's actually abandoned that train he was following a moment ago. There was a long train of cars all waiting to shuffle their way through Lady Marmalade, and they haven't quite been able to get the job done, which is left Doodle 12 in a realm of his own. Elite Speedway, however, is still picking up the pieces, isn't he? He's got A Costa and AGO6 directly behind him at the moment as they go down into the tunnel again. Bearing in mind, A Costa is another driver to complete what will be 52 laps of action here. He came second in the race just before this one. As they go down into the hairpin, he's looking to get two top half finishes, and that will be a stupendous achievement. The man has come on leaps and bounds over the past few championships. He's still looking to do so again, and a bit of contact there, and I swear every time I mentioned the previous race, something happens, doesn't it? Something goes wrong. One of those drivers, I feel a bit terrible, but at the moment, A Costa got a bit lucky there. It's going to be a definite wake-up call if he was feeling a bit sleepy. There's a lot still to happen here in this race at the moment. It can all still go incredibly wrong. He's going to try and maintain that focus, and what a move that was there by PA down that main straight to get past the struggling AGO6. He's been kind of lucky there to not collide. He slotted it through the middle, and it was almost like a thread the needle eye there, and A Costa's trying to hold on with the best of his ability at the moment, and PA's got wide. AGO6 trying to sneak back through turn number 2. He's going to be able to at the moment though, and there was a little bit of argy-bargy there, but somehow he has really lost the position back to AGO6. But what a start to the race this has been. It has been a great opening stint. And we'll see if these drivers can kind of keep this mentality going. It's a big ask, as we've said before. You want to try and settle down, you don't want to be fighting the entire race, but from a commentator and spectator standpoint, that's all you really want, isn't it? Because this has been magnificent so far, and if you haven't entered this championship just yet, I urge you to enter round number 2. All details can be found on the Simraceway website. An update there on Noddy Rotor as well, saying he was encountering understeer, a little bit unhappy due to the retirement, which is understandable. Hopefully we'll see him back next week. It's been a brilliant effort on his part, nonetheless, he can hold his head high after a great victory in the race just before. Now on the inside is coming Mr. PA, but he's really starting to struggle, isn't he? Since AGO6 has made that little lackluster move, they come over the line again, and they've not really been able to reach the same heights as they had previously. It's a 133.6 for PA, a 133.2 for the man just ahead, but you wouldn't believe that AGO6 was the quicker car there, and now they're both on the gravel. To the seaside, and somehow through there, Night Raceway with the daredevil move of the century. I don't know how he's been able to position his car through there, but the gap was tighter than a chasm. That was absolutely unbelievable. Sheer confidence from the Martini livery there. Of course, community designed one, but Night Raceway showcasing it perfectly. I'd love to see that again in slow motion. That was remarkable, and Lick Sky is now 12th, a little lower than he would like. Has now joined that battle with PA and AGO6 just ahead of him, so this is going to get very interesting very quickly. And down into that little left-hander again. Luke Sky's got to try and keep that Lady Marmalade car nice and sturdy at the moment, but what a move that was by Night Raceway. Completely took me by surprise. I mean, it took me by surprise. Imagine what it must have done for AGO and Mr. Pierre out of nowhere and charging 100+ mph. Night Raceway just flings its way through in a gap that must not be more open than a couple of centimetres. There was nothing to separate them. And now he's got to set his sights on A Costa 88. see what his lap time was after that move though. Down in towards the turn number 2 complex again. Raceway 132.0. So 132.09, even with that move, was still about a second faster than the cars behind him. That is just a testament to how much this guy's pushing. And Acosta pushing a bit too hard there. His car almost in the wall. Down now in towards that hairpin. Raceway starting to reel him in, and once you make one mistake at this circuit, you can just feel that going to be coming once that one mistake gets made, the repetition, and try not to make the same mistake again. You can often make some more, and it's even affected the best of drivers. You sometimes see even now in real life, you make one tiny error, you work so hard to seclude it and never make it again. You end up making more errors than you like to admit. And now through they come again. Up the hill. And now down through the sands of time, almost. I think it's what we should call that corner, because that was gorgeous through there, that view we saw. But Raceway trying to keep his eyes nice and focused on the back of Acosta at the moment. Let's see what he's got in store for us then. He's in the slipstream. Now can he get to the outside again? He's made one daredevil pass through here. It would be putting past making a second when he's weaving around more than a sewing machine. Been able to put anything through there, is he? And he's done it through turn number 2 though, up the inside. Raceway is on a drive of a lifetime right now. So Raceway not only making one good pass, making 2, and now in a position to make a third. And even worse for him, it's going to be on his teammates. This is going to be intriguing, isn't it? Down into the tunnel come the 2 drivers again. It's teammate versus teammate, and you just don't want to take your eyes off of Elite Speedway. Look at that now, Raceway starting to get a bit too aggressive. We took a moment there just to appreciate the sheer engine sounds of what Raceway's got, because he's pushing the life out of that car right now. And now down the start finish straight, you can see the headlights have come on for Raceway. Let's just try and keep an eye on what's going to happen here then, because it's teammate versus teammate at the end of the day. A lot can still change. As we do approach the halfway mark, it's kind of getting a bit closer now. And now shooting up the mountain and down on the right hand side. And now he's still trying, isn't he, to go through the tunnel. Let's just see what Raceway's got in store for Elite Speedway. It's not quite enough yet though, is it? So we're taking a bit of a calmer approach for now, other than that little battle there. Here comes Raceway on Elite Speedway again. Down through the right hand corner, the final turn. He's still looking for a move on his teammate, and I'm sorry it's a bit gappy, but you just don't want to take your eyes off him, because you don't want to miss another lackluster pass. But we do still have the battle for the lead. Shadow Bounty took it a few moments ago and has held it ever since, but Randomness Inside has not really departed. He's not sunk back in, perhaps as we might have predicted. He's still about a second away at the moment from Shadow Bounty, so we'll see what he's got up his sleeve here as they go down in towards the tunnel. Randomness Inside is not out in this race. Shadow Bounty may be in the lead. He's more experienced in randomness here. He's been back into the days of Sunday Race off. I remember Shadow Bounty a couple of years ago. And I think this is now my 3rd year of being with Simraceway. And that man's been there since pretty much the origins of the Sunday Race Off. So he's extremely experienced in leading races. He knows what it takes to be at the top. And he knows also how to win races, how to close out races. And this one's still got plenty of action left to go as well. So in towards turn 1 come the 2 race leaders, and a 132 flat for Bounty, a 131.6 for randomness inside. Mr. Jolly goes over the line with a 131.8. Jono's still in P5 there, and he's not looking too bad. He placed at all. It's a 132.1. It's not the fastest time we'll ever see him do, but he is still inside a solid top 5 position. Ahead, bear in mind though, of Raceway and Elite Speedway and Co. So we've got 3 STEV drivers all lined up together. So it's Doodle 12.6, then Night Raceway and Elite Speedway. So bearing in mind what we've still yet to see out of the STEV boys, because the two have been hammer and tong for quite some time, and now Elite Speedway's in the wall. But we're going to keep an eye on Night Raceway, see if he can push his way towards the front of the field. I wouldn't run him out of a top 5 here. There's still well over half the race left to go. He's definitely got the potential, he's got the speed, the experience, the lot. Raceway goes through that chicane ahead of his teammate Elite Speedway. Nice leader to having collided there. It's great to race in that sort of team structure environment. We've got Luke Sky still 12th at the moment, unable to capitalise on the failures of the others around him. Mr. PAP 11. But bear in mind, we've still got plenty to go in this race, and let alone the championship as well. It's going to be an incredible drive to the finish for many of these drivers. And if we get going into round number 2, 3 of this championship, it runs right to the end of January and in towards February, I beg your pardon. We're not racing back in time, but there's some great tracks lined up for this car. So if you haven't picked it up just yet, be sure to head over to simraceway.com and pick up now, because it's going to be one that you will not want to miss out from your garage. It's looking incredibly fun to drive. I'm going to have to give it a go myself, I think, after this. Now, I've got a marmalade battle going on between Luke Sky and Luke Sky and Julian, I beg your pardon, at the moment. So the last of the STEV drivers in the race are about to do battle with Luke Sky 80. So Luke Sky is still 12th at the moment. His race is still set to deteriorate a little bit more. Through that little hairpin again. Oh, and it spins! Luke Sky in the wall! Sorry, but it's a Luke Sky. Yes, it is. Luke Sky in the wall of the hairpin. That's the first time we've seen an incident there today. In all 4 races, it's the first time we've seen a car hit the wall of that hairpin, which has surprised me. I thought it will be one of the more accident-prone corners. It's such a tight angle, especially if your view's being blocked by another vehicle. It's so difficult to see where the braking point is, so I'm surprised that's the first incident. But nonetheless, it's Luke Sky, the man that's unfortunately got that accolade. It's not going to be one he wants to hang up alongside any podiums or race when he acquires later on this year. But nonetheless, I'm sure it's something he's going to learn from very soon. He's down to 13th now, don't forget. My Raceway that time much faster than his teammate, who's dropping back a bit now as Elite Speedway. Through they go. We've got AGO6 there, P9, P10 for Costa, 88. 11th, still Mr. P8 at the moment, but the front of the field We said it was still Shadow Bounty that leads. It's about 0.7 of a second clear over Randomness inside at the moment. Let's just see what Randomness can do then. He lost the lead, as we say. About 10 laps to go now, and he's not been able to recover it since. But what he has been able to do is be a constant threat in the mirror of Shadow Bounty, and sometimes that's all that's required here. What you're going to do is show that physical presence, not go for the move, not go for that option. You don't want to be too assertive. If you just wait, be conservative, show that you're there. Show that you're pacey and that you're willing to pick up any pieces that he drops. It's going to amount so much more pressure on Shadow Bounty. It's already prominent in the lap times as well. Randomness was a bit quicker last time round with a 132.2. Making their way down into turn number 5 as well. Randomness just looking a little bit more comfortable actually. Shadow Bounty obviously in his prime at the moment. He's not showing any signs of vulnerability, but Randomness inside looking surprisingly unedgy. He's looking pretty calm, pretty collected. Great to see him in this sort of position. We've got B1386 about 10 seconds away. We'll have to wait to see if that does change any later on or no. But through the tunnel come the two leaders. We will, as we say, keep an eye on B13's progress and see if he's able to catch them. If they start fighting, it's going to be a dream come true for B13, because into the second half of this race, he's going to get himself a real opportunity and a potential race win. Mr. Jolly's still in 4th. Jono rounds out the top 5 currently with Doodle in P6. Simraceway in 7th, Elite Speedway there in 8th place. We've got AGO 9th, Acosta rounding out your top 10 with Mr. PA in 11th, Jujin in P12, and Luke's going 13th. But only retirement coming from way earlier in the race, and that coming from Noddy Racer. So a few more cars making their way over the start-finish line, and those two being the race leaders. It's a 1:32 flat for our race leader, a 1:31.8 for Randomness inside. So that's the man that's making all the moves at the moment. So what has Randomness got back in store? Is he going to bite? Is he going to take the bait that Shadow's laying out for him? Or will he be patient and hope he can come out alive? So Shadow Bounty's egging him on, isn't it? Like he's trying to tempt him into a bad move so he can just alleviate that pressure entirely. And look how close he's getting to his rear end there. It's crazily close. Now Randomness inside going through. Can't quite get it done, can he? Can't quite complete the move. Down into the hairpin where Luke Sky had his first incident of the day. Just missed a braking point. And it's not been the same fate for Randomness inside this time round. He's been not random at all, is he? If you excuse the username, he's been very consistent in terms of his lap times. And through that chicane, he's got it absolutely spot on here. As he follows Shadow Bounty around. Into that final corner again. They're 5/10 apart at the moment. Let's just see what the lap time is going to be this time between our two race leaders. The gap looking to extend it actually just a tad. So it's going to be a 1:32 flat again. Only 1,000th of a second slower there for Shadow. And it's actually 500ths faster than Randomness inside. So just a bit quicker was the race leader that time round. Look at Randomness inside. They're taking one on one with Randomness, really just to see how he's faring, trying to catch Shadow Bounty. And watching the wheel movements, he's looking very safe and secure behind the steering wheel at the moment, isn't he? Down in towards that tunnel, and look how early he's turning in. He's got a steering lock on point. There's no way that car's escaping his control. He's got the setup nailed. Heavy on the brakes there, down to about 42 miles an hour as you go under the bridge. And look at the view he's got though. It's still so tough to see the braking point when there's no one here, let alone when you're directly behind another vehicle, especially through that chicane. He's almost just kissing the inside barriers as he makes his way up through the mountain. And B13 is gaining. He is gaining a little bit. We'll give you an update on his lap time in just a few moments when they go through the final turn. And B1386 is gaining, and it is not good news for Randomness inside, because on the inside of him Well, we V1386 very, very soon then. So over the line they come. And Shadow Bounty completes his lap time. It's going to be a 1:32.2. 2 tenths quicker for randomness. And here comes the move then. Or at least a sign of one. He ducks back inside. It's a 1:31.7 for V13. So the man in third is making some bold steps towards the front of the field. The front two drivers starting to get a bit more edgy now. I think randomness may have realised this big black shadow making its way towards him, and he wants to shake it off as soon as he can. And so if you think that, so I just received a bit of information there, so sorry for the little gap in commentary. You've just received a bit of information that the gap between these two drivers that are witnessing on screen at the moment, the two race leaders of Randomness Inside and Shadow Bounty, was 0.003. So a 1:30.629 versus a 1:30.632. These drivers could not get any more even if you tried, and now we're seeing a true testament to it. We've got 11 laps to go. B13 is storming his way towards them. We've got 3 gladiators joining away, and you can see Randomness Inside has flicked that switch in the back of his head. He's no longer conservative. He's no longer waiting trying to anticipate where this move's going to come from. He's having to force it. He's having to try and create his own window of opportunity, and it's so much easier said than done when you're on a circuit as punishing as this one, then you can just feel the anxiety that he's going to be feeling inside that cockpit. B1386 is just down the road from him. So here comes randomness then. This spur of motivation and intense driving is going to be followed up by what could be a big, bold statement of a move, and he's going to need a bit more than that at the moment. Randomness still looking for a move on the outside. Still struggling, and it's Shadow Bounty that's got it sealed for now, down into the chicane, and look how close they get to the barriers there. Randomness even now trying to take a wider line to cut in deeper as they climb up towards the final corner. B13 now just 2 seconds away from these drivers. If you've not tuned in yet, tell your friends, tell anyone that's remotely interested in motorsport. This is going to go down to the wire, and here we go. Randomness Inside finally plugs up the courage, finally finds a nerve. He's on the inside, it's drag race down into turn number 1. It's a 1v1 opportunity. It's the best chance he's had all race. Can he capitalise on it? He's got the move completed. Watch out for Shadow's come back. Here we go. The duel has started. Shadow Bounty back into the lead, and the move was not quite good enough, and now the chance with that has allowed B1386 to close so far up to them. It's like he's just taken a VIP plane entry and just flew straight in first class. B1386 is a major contender in this 3-way battle for the lead. And the tensions are so high. We've got 10 laps to go. 3 drivers battling for part of a $1,000 prize pool championship here in Simraceway. Into the tunnel, and Randomness trying to look around the outside. He's getting a bit desperate now, and you can understand completely why. The rest of the field, there aren't really any battles going on, so this is the main spotlight focal point here. B13 still, look at the view he's got. He's not got 1 to contend with, but 2, and you can barely see the braking point in the turning of this chicane, and again a bit wobbly there for the man in second place. Randomness almost lost control, and down towards that final corner. 3 gladiators step into the ring for what could be a bout for the ages. I still can't believe that myself and Kosako were debating that there may not be much overtaken. This has been an incredible way to debut a car on a track. And Luke Sky's retired. He was 13th position, so retirement to Luke Sky 80. A real shame there. Hopefully we see him back here in Simraceway next weekend. I'm sure we will. He's become a regular and consistent driver here at Simraceway. But what a bit of action this has turned into. What intensity we're witnessing right now. This has turned into an all-out brawl in the final 10 minutes or so. We thought the 10 minutes of Bathurst were good. I think the 10 minutes of Troyton Raceway may just rival it a little bit, because B1386 is attacking randomness inside. He's got a chance of a victory. Through the tunnel they go. Randomness still searching for a move on Shadow Bounty. Unbelievable scenes here as they dive their way through that chicane again. 2-1-3 is just waiting, poised, ready to almost capitalise on anything. These drivers throw it in here today, down now in towards that final corner again. And it's annoying me now because the laps are going by so quickly. 1 minute there's 20 laps, next minute it's 24. And I don't want this race to end. It has been brilliant from start until now. What has randomness inside got for us? Can he pull out a surprise move? This is where he tried it a few laps ago. On that very outside line, he's unable to make anything pass through there. Mr. Jolly is still P4, Jono still P5, Doodle 12 rounding out your top 6 at the moment after what can only be described as a very intriguing race for him so far. He's sat right in the heart of the midfield, never really looked back, but the three leaders have taken this to a whole new level, haven't they? It's been absolutely brilliant racing so far, and it's only going to improve. The question is though, by how much? Shadow Bounty still second because randomness inside is now into the lead we saw just a minute ago. I didn't want to raise my voice too much purely because I had a feeling there may be a counter coming, and I do want to kind of finish talking about this race. I don't really want to scream myself out with 6 minutes left to go. So I just thought we'll keep it calm. There's obviously going to be more action coming. There's a few fireworks waiting. That was just a sparkler, I think, in the fireworks display. So randomness inside is in the lead. Let's try and keep calm. This is like being waking up on Christmas morning and only being allowed to open the stocking of presents. This is just crazy now. Randomness inside has got the Martini colour car back into the lead. He started on pole position here. And of course, the man who took pole position only took it by 0.003 of a second from the man who's sitting directly behind him. This is going to be a brilliant showcase now because Shadow back up the inside again in turn number 1. Okay, now he can lose control. Shadow is back in the lead. Anything you can do, I can do better, says Shadow Bounty, and as they make their way through up the side of the hill, randomness inside has got to be thinking, what has he got to do to get past this man? What more can he physically exert to make his way into the lead of this race? Because surely he's running out of methods, he's running out of way through. The man, Shadow Bounty, has reclaimed the lead once again. He was 3 thousandths behind in qualifying. I've got a feeling he could be 3 thousandths ahead or behind come the end of the race. This has just been incredible. Absolutely incredible. Through the tunnel again, the gap's starting to spread out a little. 4 seconds now B13 has dropped back to, so he's lost quite a bit of time. Now obviously the Dirty not playing too well with the SXJ4 vehicle. This was the last we see of him now, and he can still be a prominent factor in this three-way battle. The other car who can still kind of be in the mix here is Mr. Jolly. He's 8 seconds away from Jono in 5th. They're 20 seconds away respectively from the battle you're seeing now. But there could still be a battle for 4th and 5th position if we're lucky. Things might just turn a little bit fiery here. The gorgeous track that's making its debut here today over the start-finish line. They come back at Troyton Raceway. Shadow Bounty, 1.3 seconds here, and it may just increase with randomness inside. That's a bit of an unfriendly encounter with the wall there, and this is where this circuit comes into its own. We've got about 6 laps to go. And it's not what randomness inside needs. B13 watching on eagerly. Mr. Jolly there in 4th. Jono still P5. And it's Doodle and Raceway. And it's a shame really that Raceway wasn't really able to push his way back forward. 20 seconds away from his nearest teammate after a splendid push through into 7th place. So Raceway arguably making pass of the entire evening earlier on at turn number 1. Just asserting his way through. And now finds himself still 7th position with a lot left to lose still. He's got HO6 about 7 seconds behind him, but he's going to try and focus on what's going on with the lead. I mean, B13 still about 4 seconds away, and you've got to feel like there needs to be a resurgence here. He needs these 2 cars to fight again, and they're not at the moment. Shadow Bounty has got into a wonderfully fast rhythm. They go over the start-finish straight. 131.7, a 131.8 for randomness, and a 131.6 for B13. So B13 is starting to make a bit of time back on these guys now. B13 could still be the major protagonist here, the catalyst in this battle. Could be the man sat in 3rd place. That black, white and red striped car at the moment. Don't forget, if you want to design a livery for this or you've got any good ideas, there's a great community livery competition running at the moment. Visit our Twitter page at Simraceway for details. But through now they come, that hairpin yet again on that number 28 of 32. Watch out for how good randomness inside is through this part of the circuit, because he may just be surprising a few people. With 3 cars starting to close up yet again. This is the second coming, and they almost looks up for a move at the inside of the hairpin there. And 20 laps ago, that wouldn't have been in his wildest dreams, but now he's flicked that switch, and now anything's possible. It's kind of everything or nothing, isn't it? It's that all or nothing zone that only a racing driver can switch into, where you're so possessed and focused on winning that nothing else matters. This is what motorsport is all about, and this is what makes Simraceway so special. Easily the most spectacular community out of any sim racing or even racing game for that matter. This is going to come down to the wire, and I cannot wait to see what the class is going to be. A 131.7, a 131.5 and a 131.3. The times of the top 3 drivers that time round. Climbing the hill, Shadow, randomness and B13A6. Johnny in 4th, Jono in 5th, and Doodle crosses the line with a 132.7. Let's see what Raceway can do in response, just out of interest to see how he's lapping at the moment. It's a 132.7 he needs, it's a 132.3. Unfortunately, it won't be quick enough today, but who knows, on a given day, that race could be a completely different scenario. It's been brilliant to see these drivers put so much heart and soul into this racing as well, bearing in mind that everyone focusing so much on the task in hand, and B13 yet again dropping back, isn't he? It's not what he needs. There's only a select few laps left to go. He can't really afford to be losing too much time, but somehow still struggling through the chicane. He's going to fly now. Randomness inside going to arguably be the only one to pose a threat for Shadow Bounty. The man who started second by 0.003 of a second took the lead. They've changed the lead a good 3 or 4 times here today, and now lap number 30 they're about to start. It gets real, doesn't it? This is the clutch now. This is where heroes are made. This is where drivers turn into heroes, heroes turn into legends, and some of them just fade off into the distance, into prospects of what could have been. In turn 1, and Shadow goes a bit wide, bit of grass taken there, and this is going to be just egging randomness inside on, giving him that extra spur of motivation, isn't it? B13A6 is dropping back, the looming threat of losing 2nd place to 3rd place. B13A6 is starting to sink away just a bit. And it's all becoming more of a 2-legged race right now. They make their way down towards past the lighthouse into the tunnel again. And these drivers are starting to slip back into that zone. Shadow Bounty is setting the timing board to light at the moment, and you can tell why. Randomness inside has got no answer for the pace of the current race leader. He may not have got pole position, he may not have led the entire race, but he's certainly doing it when he needs to be right now, and it's been a great duel between these two drivers all race long. And if there's not a kindness of exchanging of words after this race, then there's something very wrong, because these two drivers are going to have the utmost of racing respect for each other, both on and off the circuit. It's been an incredibly pleasing performance by both parties. As we attempt to start the final lap right now, Shadow Bounty and Randomness Inside have put on one of the finest displays of sportsmanship I've ever seen. It's been clean, respectful, but more importantly, exciting. And you don't often get those three factors mixed in together without a bit of contact, without a bit of controversy. But in Simraceway, anything's possible. And this community never fails to amuse me. So, 30 laps complete. We've got 2 to go here at Croydon Raceway. If Bathurst Fever still got you by the reins, then this is the track you need to be going on, isn't it? It's Shadow from Randomness, from B13, from Jolly, from Jono, from Doodle. Night Raceway 7th, AGO6 in 8th place, 9th is Elite Speedway, 10th is PA, 11th A Costa, 12th Fusion, 13th Luke, 14th Noddy Racer, and Shadow Bounty still ahead of everyone. Now 6 seconds, Randomness has dropped back. Randomness has dropped back majorly. Now I know that B13 dropped back as well, but Shadow Bounty is now 7 seconds clear. Now what has happened to Randomness Inside? He's had a bit of an error somewhere. And B1386 is going to be loving this right now. He's got a lap and a half to arguably change his fortunes and get himself 1 place higher than he was originally. It's going to be an incredibly good finish. Don't forget the livery competition is over currently, so 5 new liveries will be added prior to round number 2, so the winners will be selected, but don't forget to keep creating them. You never know, they might go in handy for a future competition, but it's been a great response from you guys, so thanks to everyone that has taken part in the livery competition. And Shadow Bounty has taken part in the gorgeous new vehicle championship, hasn't he? All designated, of course, around this lovely new Koi Valley to Sim Raceway, available for just $2.50. The 6XJ4 available today to purchase, and I'm sure it may get a sudden spike after this, because this has arguably been one of the greatest cars to, I don't know, come out of Sim Raceway, I guess. I mean, one that is a Sim Raceway branded car like our Formula 3 or the Go-Kart. This is up there. It's been a hell of a lot of fun to watch it today. And it really has been a brilliant bit of machinery, isn't it, all around. Doodle 12 Night Raceway, the 2 SCEV boys about 18 seconds apart in 6th and 7th at the moment. There's still a fight here though. Elite Speedway and AGO 6 and 8th and 9th, so we don't want to lose sight of that battle. AGO 6 had a terrible lap last time by, and Elite Speedway goes a bit wide. He's got to try and cut underneath. So there is a battle brewing between 8th and 9th position. We've got to keep an eye on it, but right now Shadow Bounty's so close to the end of the race. He can almost taste victory, the smell of the champagne, the sweat, the passion, the tears that have gone into this victory. Almost worth it. Through the sands of time and into the final corner he goes. And Shadow Bounty is going to be one very happy man. He lost out on pole by 0.003 of a second, but he's going to win it by 9. Shadow Bounty wins the first round of the 6XJ4 Championship in tremendous fashion. A valiantly fought second place for Randomness Inside, and a greatly deserved third for B1386. All 3 drivers deserve the win. They all deserve podium places, and they'll all be shaking hands after that, I can assure you. Mr. Jolly takes 4th. Now that man really does deserve a round of applause. These last few races, he's been on top form. Another top 5 for Mr. Jolly. Hats off, sir. You've done incredibly well there recently. Jono impressing there with the top 5. And Lady Marmalade gets himself in the top half of the field. 5th place for Jono in his rookie race of the season. That is a great effort indeed. Then it's an SDEV triple in 6th of Doodle, Night Raceway, Elite Speedway. We've got PA and A Costa. So the battle for 8th and 9th come to a bit of a close then. Elite Speedway did get through. PA going to come 9th. And then it's going to be A Costa 10th. Fusion 11th, and out of the race AGO 6, Luke Sky and Noddy Racer. So what an evening of racing we've seen here. That was absolutely remarkable. No other words for it. That was breathtaking from start to finish. What an addition the 6XJ4 is. A new type of racing and a new breed of racing driver, it seems. I'm just going to take a minute there to appreciate how much of an impact this car has had into Simraceway. What a little bit of machinery that is. That is absolutely fantastic to see this car into the game. It is such a good car, and I urge you all to go and pick it up right now because it is so fun to drive as well. As I say, I'm sure I'll be taking it for a bit of a test run a bit later on, but what an effort by all of these drivers here today. So it's now time for the big thank yous as always. We've got to start with our event administrator, Korsako, because every time, even again, I keep referencing that conversation, he thought there may not be a lot of overtaking. But I don't know what he does. He's such a wizard in these scenarios. He's got such a demanding car. One of the most unpredictable cars on the planet, ideally, with a track that demanding. And it's came out beautifully. Again, I mean, he does so much work behind the scenes. He really does live and breathe Simraceway. He's the heartbeat to the company. So a massive thank you to Simraceway. So if you're in the chat, do give your thanks and show your appreciation because he sure does deserve it more than I think anyone else right now. A massive thank you as well to our cameraman Dimitri for, I've got to say, some groovy backing music this time in between sessions. I was grooving along to it. It's good. Honestly, that man put so much effort into the broadcast. He has the chat window there as well. He has all the stats. He really does make this broadcast what it is. So if you do get a chance to talk to Dimitri, do show your gratitude because without him, this broadcast would be about 30% of what it is right now. He's such a credit to Simraceway, and he really does symbolise everything that this game and this community is about. And lastly, to you guys watching at home, you guys racing, anyone that has even heard of Simraceway, whether you're just a fan that watches it on a Sunday evening, or whether you're in the heartbeat of this championship, picking up podiums, fighting for midfield positions, whether you're in the 500 Skillquant, or in the race we've just seen a minute ago, you guys make this game what it is. Without you, I'd have nothing to do on a Sunday. Korsako will be using his wizardry elsewhere, and I think Dimitri will be in some sort of TV company. But honestly, you guys make our job so much fun and make it just, well, give us the passion that we need to deliver such a good product. So thank you to every single one of you. You guys are the real reason that Simraceway has been as great as it is for 2015. We said 2015 would be our year. I think it's going to be. So one last thank you as well to everyone at the PDC. I know we've recently had a great partnership with the Laguna Seca circuit. So to our driving instructors, both Nico and Paul, we've got Jonathan Haswell, our CEO, everyone at the accounts, the engineers, the designers, the programmers, everyone that's associated with Simraceway. You guys can hold your head high and take a round of applause for yourself as well, because without you, again, there wouldn't be a game in the first place. You guys really have made such a fantastic product, and this year is going to be the year of Simraceway, I can assure you. But from myself, Liam Jenkins, this has been a wonderful evening of entertainment. I cannot wait to see what happens on Sunday, the 15th of February. Make sure we don't go back in time again. Sunday the 15th of February, we're going to Edmonton. Now, last time we were there, we got a few shock surprises. It's another tight, another twisty circuit, very narrow indeed, very high speed, and then the finale at Cadwell Park. You do not want to miss this championship. From me, Liam Jenkins, I'll see you next Sunday at Edmonton Airport.